Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest. I believe this is the fourth time back on the show. We've got the CEO, ImperialHal. He is back. He is here and he's ready to go. Hal, how are you doing, my man?
I'm feeling pretty tired today, but I'm good. Other than that, scrims were not fun. So
Oh, no.
tired, moody, but I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
Good start. Good start.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna get some juicy answers now. That's what's gonna come out of it. It's
Yeah,
gonna piss
probably.
off. So number one on the pod. We were saying this before we started recording, though, but number one guest on the pod now. Number one in Apex. Number one on the pod. Just like always the top man.
Yeah,
He's always the
that's-
top.
Yeah, I
Might
guess
be a
that's
correlation.
that's what happens, I guess, when doing well all the time.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is. Speaking of doing well and doing fantastic, there's a list behind Jumba right now, and I got to take ownership for this list. I gotta get this out of the way early. That's my face right there, and on that top 5, there is not a Falcons logo. Can I just defend myself real quick?
Let's elaborate here.
Yeah,
We all said
this
it was
is-
a terrible list.
For
We all
context,
said it was a terrible
we
list
need to
before
make
we
sure,
put it
for
out.
context, people realize this is the top 5 Wyatt thought going into Japan Champs 2026.
Yeah.
And no Falcons logo. We had Shopify, NIP, Alliance, SAUL, and then Wolves. All above Falcons.
So here's my explanation, Hal. If I would have put you in there, it would have just been a terrible jinx. That's my explanation. If I would have put you in there, it honestly would have somehow been worse, because then I would have been jinxing you, because most of the teams on that list didn't do that well. So it's actually
They
a
all did
tribute
bad.
to you.
Yeah.
They all did bad.
SAUL.
It was the
SAUL
reverse top
was
5.
okay.
It was the reverse
Yeah.
top 5.
If you
Actually, for the next list, what I'll do is I'll just put you guys at 20th. That's a guaranteed win.
Exactly. I'm down. Listen, I'm down.
Okay.
Fine.
Listen, if you actually don't believe him, though, like, he had Shopify winning everything also at EWC, and we know they didn't make finals.
Yeah.
And then, like, which was such a shocker. And then he put him here, and they did not have a great tournament in Japan. It's very common for Wyatt to be the... I'm afraid we won't have people on the show because of Wyatt's predictions often. Yeah.
Nah, I think it'll be fine. Just just gotta let them know how many drinks you had when you made it your list.
That's the crazy part. I hadn't even started drinking yet. That's the wild part. No, it's honestly, I'm such a bad jinx that if it's honestly, it should be worn as a badge of honor if you're nowhere near my top 5. That's the way you should view it in the future, is if you are in my top 5, you're like, oh shit. Because I don't know why, I just have this genie magic power where it just, if I think somebody's going to do good, they just suck.
Yeah.
Then thank you for not putting it in your list.
Yeah, he
You probably-
Yeah.
To be fair, you
Yeah.
would have probably put us. If you did put us in the top 5, would you put us to win? And then you would have been like, yeah, okay, just jinked us and made us guy second. That would have been the
Yeah,
ultimate
well,
jinx.
so I think where I was aiming at first, I think I was aiming for second, just because like match point, anything can happen. But I think I was aiming for second, and then I was like, no, I got to go off the reservation here. I got to go wild on this one, and I went a little wild. It didn't end up being wild in a good way. It was wild in like the worst way possible. So.
Yeah.
I thought you
Okay.
forgot.
I did low-key forget it. Well, because I was like, all right, Falcons, well, I'll get back to them later. I started just dropping names on the list. Yeah, and then,
The top 5 fills up fast.
it does fill up fast. There's only 5 spots. So, yeah, it does. But here's what I will say. I actually think no matter what would have happened at this tournament, you guys were playing so ridiculously good. I don't even think I could have jinxed it. You guys were playing absolutely incredible. And really the only thing you guys didn't walk away with was that number 1 spot. But you guys were on an absolute hot streak, going insane. As far as like your guys' preparation going into Japan, did you do anything differently? Or was it kind of just like you finally felt like you're in a squad where everything's just clicking?
Not really. I didn't do anything different, honestly, like compared to TSM, like time. It was just, like you said, everything was clicking. I knew going into the squad beforehand, we even, like, let's say even before Pro League, we played those regional finals and whatever, like, I knew the squad was very, very, it was going to be a very, very good team. Like it's also like one thing I knew right away while we were playing was like this team felt to me like old TSM. Like I felt like Walty was like my Jordan, and the Guild is like Evan, right? And I felt like that like pretty quickly. Walty's the type of guy, same thing as Jordan, to kind of do whatever it needs for the team, whatever it takes, right? And Guild and Evan, defragging and young players. So yeah, I just like Walty, Guild, and Kyle, our coach Roger. They all like used to play together, so I knew, picking Guild. I knew Guild was great as a player, obviously, but it was more so the chemistry between them three was like, I think, really important because I know they all liked each other, like when they played together beforehand. So I was like, okay, that's like a no-brainer. Chemistry with me doesn't really matter. Like I don't really care about that. Like if the rest of my team and my coach, is gonna fit, I can fit in too. It should be easy, right? So yeah, it was pretty obvious from the get-go that it was gonna go the way it was.
Would you say it was pretty much? How quickly did you realize that, like, oh, this was a no-brainer, right pick?
Well, as soon as we were talking about like options of who to pick up, as our third, I thought of Guild right away. I don't. I guess I'll say it now. Like our second pick was McLovin, but that was more so like just obviously a second option. I think Guild is just better just because of the chemistry mainly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like it would have been different obviously with McLovin because we would be basically a new team, and McLovin doesn't like we've played with McLovin in the scrims and he's subbed in and he's did well, like really well. So, but and I played with Guild before too, but yeah, so, like right in the beginning, I knew Guild's no brainer. Like I brought it up to them and they were like hell yeah, and so yeah, and like I guess scrims too. I don't really remember, but I know scrims we were always doing well. I was also individually playing really well as a player. So I feel like if I'm ever confident in myself, like individually, we're always going to do well, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember one scrim fairly vividly. For how little I watched scrims, there was at one point where you guys were fighting outside of like the geyser, down the hill from Dome, where Guild like 1v3s Funk Sykes, and Zero, and I was like, all right, this team is just going to be beyond broken. Like, what did I just watch here?
Yeah, Guild. Oh yeah, I remember at the Geyser building. That's what you're talking about. I remember that.
Yeah, the Geyser. I was like, that was just, this team is going to be stupid.
Yeah, it was insane what he did. He was like farming when we first started playing together, like hard. So yeah.
You guys had a lot of, honestly, there were some of the funniest 1v3 clips ever because it would always be like you or Guild posting 1v3 and Waltzy's there doing some stuff too, but you guys still just posted 1v3.
And it would be like the clearest 1v3 ever.
It's like 1v3 against so-and-so. It's like, it's fuck Waltzy, man.
Yeah, he just EMP'd the other team. He's like, yeah, we were 1v3. We were 1v3 them.
But like, yeah, I mean, like in general, like what you're saying there, like it seemed like as soon as you kind of like went back into the IGL role, I know we talked about this one of the previous times that you were on the show, but you wanted to take that role back over. I don't know if we've talked about that since you've done it, but it really felt like suddenly you elevated again because you're now leading the team and you're still leading in kills. You're still like just dominant by yourself. What do you think? Was it getting that control back that like kind of like sent you over the top again, or what do you think it was that you felt so good about your game this time around?
Well, like first off, I think I don't think I ever like said that I wanted, like I was going to do it, like IGL again. Like I think it was something that was kind of in the back of my back pocket. Like I knew I was capable of doing it again, just because of I watch other people play. Like I know how Zero calls and whatever. Like I learn, and like I'm still thinking somewhat as an IGL, even though I'm not making the calls. So like it was just kind of something in my back pocket type of thing, and I knew if I ever had to bring it up, which considering the whole situation that was going on, like even behind the scenes, like I was like, okay, it's probably going to happen, and I was ready for it. So, and what was the second part of the question? It was like, how did I? What was
just
it?
like like why do you think that you were like playing so well again? Like I think it's pretty obvious if you watched LAN. I felt like it was like a version of you that we hadn't like. No, you were always like obviously good at like the open, but it's just like somehow you just continue to get better and better. Where it's like, how can this guy continue to separate himself from every other player in the game?
Yeah, I definitely think it was like a very dominant like especially the first day in groups. Obviously like different controller and stuff like that, but I don't know. I think it was just more so. Like the main thing was just like I was just confident in my individual ability. I'm able to play multiple aggressive characters. It was like another thing. I was like kind of handicapping myself for so long. Like I was playing on a controller layout that wasn't really my like suit. It wasn't suiting me. I was playing PlayStation and it wasn't really my thing. And then I eventually swapped to an Xbox controller that was still like performing well, but it also suit my comfortability or my preference. So fix that like uncomfortability with playing PlayStation, and then I go from playing like boring ass like useless characters like Caustic and Rampart, and I sit in a corner and do nothing, to being able to take the lead and control the game a lot more. So I kind of just got like unleashed again in a way. And after I was able to unleash myself after playing, just shit characters for a little bit, I just felt like, I was the best player in the world again, type of thing, and like not only, my calls were good, I was individually putting up stats in any way possible. So it kind of just like snowballed from there. And my team obviously, helped that, like Waltzy being able to play crypto, and me being able to like kind of look past, I guess, my experience with him when he's doing his role with Zero compared to me. It would be a lot different if I was playing crypto and had to play Newcastle and stuff like that, like Zero is kind of now. But yeah, just I don't know. I guess I kind of took a break. I was resting for a while in a way, and then I came back and just kind of unleashed at LAN.
Yeah, because I want to be clear. It's not like I'm saying like you were not performing well before. Like the Open was one of your most insane performances too. You've always like just put out a crazy amount of kills, which I got called crazy from all EMEA fans for putting you above Effect as the number one fragger in the game. I got a ton of heat for that. I couldn't understand why, but yeah. So it's not saying like you were before, but it just seems like as soon as like you finally got into like IGL role again, you somehow elevated even more, which just is always kind of just shocking.
Yeah, I think like the reason why also I like farmed at Open was because I think I was playing a Fuse or something. I was playing like a Ballistic and other like basically playing not Console Legends, since Console Legends were like buffed after Open or whatever. You kind of like someone had to play Console Legends, but then someone also had to play Crypto. So now you have two people on the team playing basically defensive characters that can't just run in forward and play by themselves. There's only one player on the team that can do that now, and that was Zero. So I had to take a back seat and I couldn't do anything compared to Open where I was playing Fuse, Ballistic, and shit like that. But yeah, so
yeah, seeing you on Watson was crazy.
Hey, listen, me and Multi tried. I didn't know how to go through Zero's head and tell him like, hey man, like I'm better than you. Like just give me Wraith or give me whatever the fuck. Like let me do it, please. Like it will be better. I know. Like it was complicated conversation. Like I'm not expect Zero, or I guess expect Zero or myself to like ever give up their role that they've been playing for so long to someone else, right? So but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's adding to Jumbo's point a little bit. I remember when I first started getting into ALGS, and I was a little bit later, but just seeing you perform at the high level that you were at that time, and then you have the run with Falcons, and then you go back to that IGL role. I think there was a lot of people who maybe got into it when you were on Falcons, not really IGLing. Now they get to see this version of you back in that IGL role. I think it's almost like a reawakening for some of these people to see and realize, like the newer fans, to see what Prime Hal was like. And there was maybe a question from some people like, will it go back to being the way it was before? And you kind of just proved it immediately. Like, I'm still him. I'm still that guy. And I just remember that fear of like, I believe it was game 7. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to end up winning this game and end Apex for everybody else. It was like that moment where it's like, you always seem to find those spots no matter what, whether, whether you're on the ropes or not. When you started getting back into that IGL role, was there any like moment in time where you kind of had to re-jog your memory on certain things, or did it kind of just come back instantly?
there was like a lot of things I kind of had to understand what I was comfortable with and what I was bad at. Like, obviously in the beginning, I was really like a Wraith crutch kind of. I didn't like playing Alter at all. I think that character is like useless on blue armor and is only useful on purple armor, especially in comp. Like the ultimate of Alter, most of the time is like just bad compared to Wraith Portal. Obviously it's different in ranked, but I just had this like stigma of like I want to play Wraith. I think Wraith is better than Alter. I can play a lot more freely. Blue perk Wraith is better. Also, like blah 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 blah. So like I eventually, my teammates, especially Kyle, our coach, like allowed me to kind of like take a hit. Like they all took a hit. They all took a hit. Yeah, took a hit.
I think
Took a hit for the team because they wanted me to play Alter, but I was like, no, 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 no. But obviously they were right. I just didn't like. I knew what was right in the moment, and I knew in the long term I had to play Alter and learn it. But obviously we were swapping like shit in the beginning of in the middle of Pro League, right? So I'm not gonna start using Pro League matches to learn a character, right? And then when I can just play Wraith, right, and just play around that and whatever. So learning like Alter, learning what's important, like learning how stupidly OP map room is, and like that shit is just like you just need to have that like no matter what you're playing on each game, because without map room the game is just so much harder to as an IGL. But it was like a little bit of everything. I don't think it took me that long to kind of get in the groove. I kind of just needed to figure out what was important in like the current meta, what I needed to have on the team, and kind of go from there, to be honest. But like I said, I don't think it really took that long at all.
With Legend Ban and like the way the game's gone now, and then like even like this team where it feels like you guys have already found your roles, like you said, similar to like that TSM era and everything like that. So maybe you already had this perspective, but has your perspective changed at all in terms of like role fit with a team versus like just getting whoever's the next best mechanically inclined player, which obviously guild is up there, but it's just like, does role fit seem like more important to you now?
Oh yeah, role is like way more important. Like you said with the ban system, people have to play a lot more characters, and there's kind of a more defined. There's more defining roles now because of the ban system. Before is like, okay, you're playing one character and you don't need it. All you need to do is that one character for 50 million games, right? So it's different now. Like sometimes, you know, you can one game you can be playing Catalyst, and the next game you're playing Bangalore. It's like way different, right? So it just depends. But yeah, like obviously we kind of already had defining roles in the beginning. Like I'm IGL and Waltzy's like the support, and then Guild is the fragger or like console character guy. So that was like pretty quickly, that was pretty easy to figure out. And I always try to do that before picking someone up officially. Like either like the mechanic thing, like I don't really care about mechanics. Like I do, but I don't. Like let's say we talk about esports World Cup, right? Like if I want to do mechanics, I'm just gonna go pick up coins. I know, and then okay, but like that team on paper is just terrible. Not on paper, but like in the game. Like on paper is like, wow, that's like an insane team, right? Like you have me, Koi, and Zainu, but Zainu counter calls like a motherfucker, and then Koi can seem to only play like he needs to be playing the same role as I am, or same characters as I am. He doesn't like playing Catalyst and take a back seat like Guild. He wants to be able to be on the front line and whatever, but like I'm not doing that. Like I'm not gonna IGL off of Caustic and shit like that. Like it's not gonna happen. So I can't play with Koi because of conflicting characters roles, and I can't play with Zainu because he just like a yapper and likes to counter call. So it just doesn't work. Like they're individually like insane players, but we just want to work, right? So roles and more so characters, like who plays what, is like really really important, because make sure everyone's like comfortable and familiar with what they're playing at the time.
ENC is kind of like, I was gonna bring this back honestly later on because I figured we'd talk about like Japan first and get into that and how you guys played there. But like since you kind of brought it up, ENC is where I was thinking about it for that exact reason. Jay, Donnie, and I had like done a stream, like kind of just coming up with as many teams as we could possible. It was pretty funny because half the teams do not make sense. But obviously, the
I reached
USA
out to
team,
Luka Doncic to
Yeah.
coach the Slovenian Apex team.
Yeah,
We'll see if he
yeah.
responds.
Yeah, right. Because like, there's no one from Slovenia. We picked off 2 ranked grinders from the Slovenian leaderboards on Apex status. But like, the thing is here is like, yeah, like Team USA. Like, obviously, that was the first one we talked about. Jay mentioned a brief conversation he had with you at the airport, and this role fit kind of thing that you guys are talking about. If you were like to like choose your team for Team USA, who do you think like you would want to bring with you, like 2 players? If you'd like even want to share that, yeah.
Well, yeah, the way I've said it, like said it to Jay too. Like,
Mhm.
if depending on the rules, from what I understand, like I can have one more player from my team, so it
Yeah.
would be me and Guild for sure. And obviously, I can't get Walsey because he's Australian. And no offense, Guild, if he was American, I'd pick up Walsey. Because like, well, I feel like Walsey's role is a lot more complicated to kind of fill. Just to like, let's just be real. Like crypto Newcastle is like not easy compared to playing like what Guild does. So, but yeah, like it'll be me and Guild, and then this is like obviously where it gets complicated for me because I like don't know who's good on like crypto Newcastle. Like, everyone that I've thought of is like, let's think about it, like Vaxlon, fucking Zap. Like those 2 are on top of my head. Like I know Zap, like off the top of my head, I would pick up Zap because he's controller and has good mechanics, whatever. But I don't. I would have to like play with him and try it out because I feel like he's the type of player that doesn't. Since he plays with Zainu kind of like does everything, like says everything, and Zap is kind of just like feeding information and not really like making a call like as a co-IGL. And I feel like Walty does that for me, and I need to have something like that because I can't really make a call off of something that I can't see because I'm not crypto. And Zap would have to do that, but he usually does not do that on his original team. So then I feel like that'll be a problem, which may like create like Vax as a better option because I feel like Vax kind of does that for his team, but he's worse mechanically. He's a mouse key player, right? So it's like complicated. I have to figure out. I have to try people out, see how it is, how it feels, their personality as a player in game, and kind of go from there. But for sure, me and Guild like locked in. But our third is like very important. They play a big role, and I don't want to like just pick up somebody off of I don't know assumption, I guess.
Yeah, it was funny because we put Zap because of like partially the conversation you had with Jay, but then we also did these exact same points. Like we talked about, he brought up Vaxlon in there. It's like interesting, like as you were like describing that, I was thinking it was like, yeah, Vaxlon absolutely does provide like that co-IGL experience, but then I see that like who's gonna be better like at shooting their gun? It's absolutely Zap. But it was interesting. We caught a ton of flack when he posted it online after, like, why the fuck wouldn't you put Koifel? Why the fuck wouldn't you put Zainu? And we're like, because it's just like roles are so much more important now in Apex than like what they once used to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like the days of just like take Hal, Zainu, Koi, I think are gone, and maybe they never would have worked in the first place. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm jinxing this right now, but I just feel like Vaxlon, Hal, Guild would be disgusting. Like just absolutely I just feel like that's you said I think you said it. That's the squad right there. No disrespect to Zap. I just feel like that's the squad. That sounds so sick.
I mean, looking at the competition of E and C, Vaxlon absolutely has the mechanics to keep up there.
Yeah, I think like it just really depends on the co-IGL role. Like even if I think Vax has a personality of co-IGLing, maybe
I think he does. Yeah.
It's just like, but the problem is like, is he going to be confident to do that with me? Like, is he going to be like afraid to speak up with me on the team, or he's going to like put more trust into me doing things? It's like and then another problem is like, from what I understand, the period between the Vegas LAN and then Esports World Nations Cup, whatever it's called, it's like a month or maybe
like,
less than a
like
month.
3 weeks.
Yeah. So how do I really have time to be like, I'm going to play for Zap for a week and then I'm going to play with Vaxlon the next week, or I could play with you for 2 days, but then are those 2 days enough for me to dictate if you're good or not? It's just like, I might just have to pick a player just off of, you know, like it's bullshit, but
and then just focus on ALGS because it's more important.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. That's why it's like kind of scuffed. Like I feel like the rules are kind of gray. I don't even know them. And then like the time frame between playing that tournament and having LGS is like so little, and I'm playing with not a completely brand new team, but I'm lucky enough to be able to pick guild. Some teams will be completely brand new, and they'll have like 3 weeks to practice together. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of scuffed. It's kind of crammed, and I feel like we should be given more time for something like this. But maybe next year, or the next time, it's we'll have more time to practice and figure it out.
I'm really curious just to hear what you would say on this. Let's just say you can't go for whatever reason, something happens. Who would you pick for Team USA? Who would be your squad based on just not only just pure mechanics, but like how you think they would fit together? Like who would IGL that team?
That's a good question. Shit, I don't even know. Like, who was even like the next best? I guess.
Let me see the list that because we did
NIP,
make multiple.
Like I would say like Zainu right at the top of my head, but obviously he's new. He did like bad like his first LAN as IGL. Obviously they won Pro League, him IGLing, but I'm trying to think like.
Yeah, he just got his rough one out of the way. Anything you could view that as a positive.
I also picked him number 1 on my list. That might be the problem. That could have been.
Because Zainu like was my first thought, but at the same time it's like 19. Like I don't know. Like you it's kind of crazy that they got 19th with the squad that they put. Like they've been doing good in scrims kind of, and then they won Pro League. So it's like they're capable of winning, but yeah, I can go off on that.
I'll tell you. Like I can tell you the other rosters we made, and then you tell me what you think of some of these. Like so, we had dropped, knocked, panic. We did Zainu, Koi, McLovin, and then we had like Zach Mazer, Sykes, Keon, and then like because we were just trying to see how many United States teams you could get, but like the 2-3 rule was kind of like making it tough. We had like Mon, Fun, Carter. Yeah, those were the extra like 5th string ones. I will say by the end we were having some like the Sykes, Zach, Keon roster. Well, I don't think bad. That was originally like. I don't know. We were putting rank. We were having fun with this. So think about the first two.
Yeah, it's just hard to find an American IGL. I feel like other than ImperialHal.
I think Drop, Knocked, and Panic would have probably be a good squad. Because Drop doesn't like really. Well, he doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know. He's like kind of weird with his role, but I feel like sometimes he takes a lead role, sometimes he doesn't. But I think that team could be good. They're like all pretty flexible except Panic. But that one was pretty good. I'm like thinking of like who I would even pair with Zainu, because I feel like Zainu and Koi for whatever reason I just don't want him to put them together for whatever reason. I feel like I would get like Zainu Guild, and then like Zainu Zap Guild.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that could work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zainu Zap Guild. It's replacing Hal from the team he wanted.
Oh yeah, I just realized that right now. Yeah, I just realized that.
yeah. Or you can do like Zainu Vax Guild. Those three, like, I'll just like replace him with Zainu, or myself with Zainu, or Vayne. Like, I feel like Vayne is kind of like pretty underrated.
We had a list there with Vayne. I don't know why Vayne's name. Like again, we were switching those bottom two, so we did have a team with Vayne. I remember, but
yeah, like I think Vayne could be pretty good. Like trying to think, like Vayne, Koi, and like what is Vayne playing again? He plays crypto though. He does play crypto.
Yeah.
He doesn't play Newcastle though. Vayne,
that's
Koi, and then Sykes. Vayne, Koi, Sykes maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He'll play crypto. Sykes can play Newcastle. Yeah, I think those three could be good, maybe.
It's going to be interesting. I don't know if you've heard. Those rules make no sense. It's like you can get chosen as a team, but there's still a qualifier you have to go through potentially. It makes zero sense.
I thought I was going to get directly invited, but then I was told like, no, you have to go through qualifiers. Apparently, the only people that are getting directly invited is like Japanese team and the Korean team, and I'm like, fuck is that? How does that make any sense?
Yeah, don't get it either. Don't get it either. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do think because this whole conversation kind of hinged off of the fact that like now it seems like a lot of teams are, trying to find like roles to fit rather than just pure skill. Do you kind of like that better overall? Or do you miss the era where it was just like, let me team up with the best dudes and just run these lobbies?
I think it's just better to have, like you said, the first part where there's defined roles and you can't just pick up the best mechanical players and just roll people, because like, let's be real, like there's a lot more to Apex than just shooting your gun, right? And introducing ban system and POI draft, it's created a lot more in-depth gameplay, which creates a lot harder to make like good teams. Like, you can't just pick up like three insane individual players and then be like, yeah, we're gonna win. Like, no, it just doesn't work like that. Like, to be fair, let's just like look at all the tournament like placings. Like, not the best teams on paper don't always even do well. Like Alliance did shit, Shopify did shit. Like, all these teams that are on paper or even in the past like did really well and are just individually insane, they just didn't do well. And that's how the game is now. It's like a lot more complicated than it was before, where you just pick up three individual good like players with gun skill, and you just kind of outgun everyone out of your like bad spots or whatever. So I think it's good that way. I think it'd be a lot more boring, and I guess in the past it's a lot more what's the word, like all the outcomes were obvious before every tournament, because like I said, the gameplay was like a lot more one dimensional and easy compared to now. Now it's like, are you going to get zone? What characters is going to be for this specific zone? Where am I landing now? Because I'm playing on 4 maps instead of 2. It's just, I think it's good for the game, and I think it's just it creates like just better teams overall. It should be like that. It should be a team game, not just like individual shoot your gun like I'm playing R5 every Apex game or LGS game.
I think this year's EWC was a good example of that. If someone told me that was their top 5 going in, I would have asked them for next week's lotto numbers, because they would have like seen the future. There's no fucking way they chose that top 5.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm curious about, because there have been so many positive changes to the format. I think every single time we see a new change, for the most part, it seems like ALGS is getting better, more intuitive, like more in depth. You can kind of like go deeper into it, like the POI draft, the legend picks, all that kind of stuff. Is there a change you still wish they would make? Is there something that's out there that you're still kind of like, I wish they would adjust this because I feel like it would make these things a little bit better?
For ALGS specifically,
yeah,
I think like mainly roster stuff. I don't really know like gameplay wise. Obviously, there's like bugs and stuff like that, but I think I don't know. Me personally, there's like probably a hot take, but I think characters that are broken should stay broken. I just like the most recent like Octane thing. Like, that was like, I had so much fun. It reminded me of old Ash, reminded me of old Wraith, old Horizon, like all of these things. I'm just like, this is the like Apex that I just love. This is what I fell in love with, especially like old Wraith. Like, I get to play this OP character, and if I don't play this OP character, I'm going to be bored, or I'm going to like just not have fun. And when I get to main them, especially in LGS, like it showcases such insane individual ability. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, if Octane wasn't, I guess Octane would still be like shit even for comp, even if he wasn't like nerfed. But like the game, like the plays that people can make with these busted characters and like the 1v3s would be insane. Like, actually, like you can't like do these things other than if the character doesn't like apply it. You can be as good as you want, but if the character is not as good as you, it doesn't matter, right? Like, I can't 1v3 in Mirage. Like, it's just Mirage. It's not the same. But like, I would like characters to be OP more often, like instead of nerfing them like quickly and let it kind of be played out in ALGS. I think rosters should be more strict. I think they updated that with Pro League recently. Yeah. I don't know exactly what it was, but roster locks and this like the bullshit with like subs being able to keep the like a roster or the Pro League spot or land spot, that needs to be like gone. Like, it's BS. Like, you could build a brand new team and you're going to land. Like, it should not work like that. like, type of thing. It's just like, okay, I saw people posting about it in ALGS that, their sub, if you're going to be applied to keep a spot, like they need to play a certain amount of percentage of games of your roster. And if they don't, then they're not like, they can't be applied to, keeping your
Keeping the
spot.
spot.
Yeah. So I think that's just like, it's just a scam. People, like, rosters should be more consistent. If you're going to be play bad, you better work through it and not just like cut through the middle and make a shortcut trying to pick up someone else when you need to be fixing things. And I think that's like one thing I feel like why the lands have been like so lackluster when it comes to placements. I feel like people kind of just change their teams like every tournament. Like either one person or two people, and it's always, most of the time it's not even the right guy that you should be replacing, right? So I don't know. I think it would be a lot more competitive if people kind of like were forced to play together and like learn and work through it and not like just throw someone away and pick up someone else and expect the shit to go away when he's going to have the same problem.
Yeah, it's so interesting you bring that up too, because when I first got into ALGS, just from a regular sports background, it's almost like a lot of times you expect teams to kind of stick together through some of these things. But I feel like because there was always the option that at any point they could just switch up, it made it so much easier for guys to just be like, fuck this, I'm not going to try and get better. I'll just go to this other team where it's way better. And then
Yeah.
it makes for like the casual fan, it's so hard to follow certain teams because you're seeing the logo and you're like, wait, what happened to the team that used to have this logo? And then I think it confuses a lot of people. So I would hope to see a little bit more of that as well. And also, like, I find a lot of like respect for a team like, I know they just split recently, but they were together forever, like Sentinels. Like they stuck together through a long time and they got better every single time. Like they just kept slowly getting better. And then they waited until the season was over to like make the decision. All right, we're going to split up now. But they continued to like do better at lands and different stuff like that. And then they hit a low point again, where they almost didn't make champs, I believe. They battled through it. They get to champs. And I don't know. I just feel like if we get more consistent teams, more consistent rosters, and players like actually fighting for one another, like getting through the ups and downs together, I feel like it's just going to make for a better product. I 100% agree with you on that.
I agree too.
I think I really wanted to get the champs. Because I feel like that was like that big story, obviously. Like you guys played so good there, and we're kind of talking about that. You got second, but I mean, you guys won groups, you won winners. You're first to match point. I saw some of your tweets about it, but like, how did you feel about like just the performance about champs? Like, how did you feel about this tournament specifically from your whole team?
I was like the first person to say like, I was actually happy that we got second because I thought we were going to lose and go down to third going into the last game because we got like 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew E36 was still alive, so I was like the first person to be like, guys, like I'm happy with second. Like shit, we almost got third. Like we went from almost winning the game to almost going down to third place, but we, got second. So my teammates were like bummed out as bad as possible. You can imagine. But I was like the complete opposite. Maybe because I kind of like accepted the reality, or I've won some, I've lost some, so I've done both. Like Guild hasn't won one, so I knew he wanted to win. Walty, I think always just wants to win, and he's if we don't win, he's gonna be pissed. So that's just normal. But I was happy overall. Obviously, like the main thing that like I think that like the main thing that like hurt was like we played so well in the entire tournament, and then we like fucked up in the one moment that we couldn't fuck up, and that's what like kind of like hurt me the most in like mentally. Like we did all this like great gameplay for the entire tournament, groups and winners and whatever, and then the one time we kind of need to clutch up, we just fucked it up, like as I guess worse, as bad as possible. And in my head, I was like, shit, like we did all this great, but it's like I don't know, I don't know, it just like sucked at the same time. Like I was happy, but at the same time I was like disappointed because I knew when we got into that top 3 situation and we like full reset and killed that team underneath us, and it was top 3, I kind of like just felt like the pressure kicked in like a motherfucker, like instantly. Like I could tell instantly, like we all realized what was at stake at the moment. and then like pressure just kicked us all like really hard, and then it kind of just like fell apart like pretty quickly. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm very happy with the overall performance. We were like the best team, like 95% of the time of the tournament. It just sucked that the one moment that we kind of needed to clutch up or show up, we just mess it up, and it kind of just overshadows the entire tournament in a way, and that's like the main problem with it. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, if we were trying to address that, like for listeners, if they don't understand the context, like Game 7, like in that final top 3 on Olympus, you mentioned the pressure. I saw you say like, was it because like that end game just seemed to slow down so much with the two teams not fighting on height, like you're waiting for that whole circle to close, and was it for all of you? You think the pressure like kicked in, or do you think it was the other guys? Like again, like Guild has I think the most top 5s and even second places now in Apex without a LAN win. Like, do you think it was like that, like where just mistakes kind of like fell through because of that, like being like the high pressure moment, or?
Yeah, I think since you said, like you said, the game slowed down a lot. The zone was like still kind of big, but there was only 3 teams left. Like kind, with the zone being Hammond Labs, like there's not shit to play. Like people can't really live, so people kind of die earlier than expected in a zone like that. So when we kind of like wiped the team beneath us, and then it was top 3, and the game slowed down by a lot. That's when you have a lot of time to like, kind of figure out where you're at, like reality wise. Like, oh shit, like I'm top 3, we're at match point, we're about to win, we could win. Like that's what's going through your mind when you're just sitting there and doing nothing. Kind of you're kind of waiting for the zone, so you can play the game. So yeah, the game slowing down didn't help. Obviously, at the same time, it should have helped us because we would have a lot of time to make a game plan, and we kind of just didn't. Like we did, but we didn't. In a way, like I wanted to push up, Walty said no. So like I knew Walty was under pressure because of him telling me to come back and not go when I wanted to go forward. Guild was Guild. He's didn't really say much in the first place, but he was locked in. I think I was under pressure for sure. I feel like I didn't like make a solid call to make or say anything like officially. I obviously also didn't like think about like, oh shit, like we're going in the end zone with Caustic. Like, how are we gonna like do this? We're gonna just all die to Caustic gas. I didn't even think about that, right? So there was like something I forgot. I wanted to do one thing, Walty wanted to do another. I think he was hesitant because obviously he knew what was at stake at the moment, so he didn't want to like make a mistake and pushing too early. So he told me to come back. But yeah, I think it was just more so me and Walty that I feel like the pressure kind of kicked in. Definitely because the game slowed down and Guild was just chilling. Seemed like.
Yeah, I mean, like, just I had a lot of people immediately because I always do these videos where it's like how the Kraber lost this team XYZ amount of dollars, and I had like a bunch of people hit me up about like, are you doing it about Caustic? And not to drive the knife in deeper, I like reviewed the game and I was like, I actually like Caustic obviously was a factor, undeniably, but I was like, it just looked like in general it was one I think just extremely fucking lucky that like Fnatic doesn't take one more tick of damage, and then second hand I think that just there was like a couple mistakes made from every individual player. Like I saw that Guild didn't even have gas straps down for the first little bit there, for example, right? So it's like I think it just kind of crept up in the moment, and shit doesn't go your way sometimes, but I hate for it to overshadow the tournament because what I really want to know is where would you rank this in terms of performance amongst like your other lands? Because getting like first to match point, ending second, the only other time that like you had a tournament where consistently all the way throughout you were that at the top of this rankings was year 3 split 2, where you went first in groups, second in winners, and then second in finals. Another one where you didn't win, but like that's when you and Dark Zero were just like trading blows, and you had that moment to win on the bridge, but the whole, exit jumps up and everything. Yeah, staging, exactly. So like, yeah, I was kind of seeing like just how dominant you guys were, top the leaderboards compared to everyone. Where would you rank this in terms of like your performance as a team compared to your previous lands where you played, even the ones where you've won?
I think performance-wise, I think this is like probably the best we've ever played, especially me. Even though we lost, like I said, it's like I don't remember. I think well, I guess the format of the tournaments have changed over time, so it's different, right? But in the ALGS, history, it's like first time in groups, first time being first in groups, then being first in winners, and then also like never nobody's ever done that. Like also won in finals, being first in winners bracket either. It's never happened, right? They always don't win, or they get to match point first, but then they don't close it out, right? So I like performance wise, I think obviously it's the best I've ever played as a player, and I think as a team for sure. Like even maybe I think like Dark Zero, like when they won when I got second. Actually, yeah, I don't know what Dark Zero had in
They
that
still
tournament.
like in. I have it right here, but in terms of like group stages, I think that they were still like, yeah, they were fourth in groups, right? And then after in bracket, I think they were like seventh or something.
Yeah. So
Brackets,
I guess overall, and
yeah,
then
eighth.
we'd probably have the best tournament played like in Apex history.
That's
Then
why I was so excited. Like I wanted, like people get mad at me for like liking the big guys, but I wanted you guys to win because like this will be the first time that someone has literally got first on everything. Even when Dark Zero set that record group stage, like 248 points,
yeah,
they still got fourth in brackets and
yeah,
in like winners, and then came second overall. Like that was
yeah.
LA, right? But it's like we've just never seen first, and I was like, that was just a wicked performance. So yeah, I wanted to see if like you thought the same thing. Like this is our best performance we've ever had, considering you've also won lands, right? Like
Yeah. I didn't really think of that. To be honest, I didn't realize that we did that well. Like as just in Apex history. Honestly, that's like a good perspective. But you know, if I ever think of like our best lane, I'm always going to think of like the ones that we've won
mhm.
right in the past. But like you said, if you put it like as the overall tournament, like there's just no denying, like you said, that we did play like the best tournament like out of any team ever, right?
Well,
Yeah.
And that's not just no like offense to Oblivion or anything like that. It's just like as a whole picture of a tournament, not just finals. Like we just did, and that
I don't
obviously we
even
didn't
think
win.
they'd argue with you on that point.
No, I don't think they
Yeah.
would either.
I agree, yeah, yeah, and like we all love when you guys won 3 back-to-back games, but like being in first the whole time versus being in 13th and needing 3 back-to-back games. That's what I mean about like dominance. It's like that was
Yeah.
okay. They pulled off some crazy shit and won this. Sick. No one's gonna take that away from you. This was like, oh, they were literally the best team in the world for 4
Yeah.
days straight.
It was actually so insane that when we did our show after Champs was over, we congratulated Oblivion, and then I think we spent like 30 minutes being like, okay, but like Falcons was the best team though, right? Like they were insane.
Yeah.
Like that's how dominant of a performance it was. It was like I remember because we had Donnie fly out here, we had everybody in this studio, we were watching it, guys who hadn't watched ALGS before, and they're watching you just go insane. They're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like that's how good you guys were. It was like every single game you guys were in like that spot. So it was a dominant performance and like something you should be extremely proud of. So I'm glad you can see it from that perspective because it was insane.
Yeah, it was kind of funny to give you another perspective when on the first day of groups when I had to play on like a new controller and like it was like the Humber game where we were just kind of like sitting in zone and then like Guild got Craybered and then we like lost the game when we should have won that one. I was like actually like after that game or I think maybe the one before that one like because we were just like I was killing everyone. I was like telling my team like this is fucking boring. Like I'm actually bored. Like even though like I'm not even kidding. Like you can ask them. Like I swear to God, like we were like just doing so good that I was getting bored. Like I was telling my team like this is boring. Like I'm not even having fun. So it was like I don't know. To me, it was nice dominating, but at the same time, it's like enjoyable to lose
Have to fight for
because
it.
yeah, 5-4 and have something to look forward to the next game. Like shit, we just messed up this game. Like I need to do better this next one. If I always just win, then it's like shit. Like what am I going to do next one? Like I got to drop 20 kills now and win. Like it's just it was kind of boring the first day, and obviously the other groups that we played we didn't do as well. But that's just like Apex, that's BR. So, but yeah.
I think what's funny, like you mentioned, I think I told this on like our first episode after like land, but like so when you say Waltzy is pissed after getting second or anytime he doesn't win. So I was like working and like editing videos. I didn't get to see the first set, but all I have anyone coming up to me saying Falcons just dropped 91 points. Falcons just went like first, second, first, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but like that's all I keep having people come up to me and say. So I walk out, I see Waltz. He's like, dude, heard you just crushed that set. Nice shit, man. What's up?" He's like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "What do you mean? I heard you just dropped 91 points." He goes, "We did fucking ass." It's like, "What?" he's like, "We fucking threw our second last game, got 0 points in the last game. Could have been so much better." I was like, "This fucking guy just dropped 91 points, and he's telling me that they played ass." And again, I hadn't seen the games at that point, so I would most of say like, "Oh, that's shit, man. Good luck next time." Like,
that happens a lot though. Like even in scrims, we would drop like 2 0-point games, and then we would just win in 4, like the block in 4 games, because we would just like dominate the other 4. But like our like peak is like so high when we do well, but then like even if we get a 0-point game, it doesn't even matter, because like when the ball starts rolling, it's just like it doesn't stop, especially for our team. Like we're just it's just over for everyone else if we just start getting rolling. And that was like our main like strength as a team. I feel like we were, since we always started with Valk, Newcastle, Caustic, we were like the best team by far on that comp compared to anyone else. Like the amount of time we would win the game or get like at least 10 points the first game was just probably like an insane stat. And starting off hot as a team, no matter if it's groups, winners, or finals, like it just helps you guys, or helps us like mentally, or any team mentally, like going from there, as to have confidence. So yeah.
I did want to talk about Waltzy a little bit, because I'm glad Jumbo brought him up, because I just feel like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if you see it in chat. I'm sure you do at some points. He just gets grilled. He just gets grilled all the time. And I feel like people don't remember like Walt before Hal. Like I feel like people don't remember that era of Waltzy. Can you just talk about Waltzy and like what he brings to the team real quick? Because I feel like he just gets unnecessarily just shit on relentlessly when he's an elite player in the LGS. He's an absolute rock star.
Well, to start off first, he does do some dumb shit sometimes, so let's put that across. First of all, but I think the relentless like hate is just because he also kind of throws it back at people. So like when he throws it back, then people throw it back at him, type of thing. So it goes back and forth. But as a player, like we said, explained it earlier when talking about Esports Nation Cup, it's like, he plays a big role in our team, like a huge role for any team, not just my team, but anyone else's team. Playing like having a good crypto in Newcastle. If people play Apex, I guess you don't really play these two characters in ranked like ever. So I guess there's like a disconnect when it comes to that, trying to play these characters. People are like, "Oh, crypto is like so easy," or Newcastle, like that character sucks, it's boring. No one understands, because they don't play that like in pubs or ranked. Either of those characters is boring, right? You would only have to understand that if you played comp specifically. So, like I said, I made this comparison earlier. Like I would make Waltzy just as similar as Jordan on my team, and I know everybody in my chat respects Jordan. Even we haven't went so far with Waltzy yet as I did with Jordan, because we haven't played that as long. But I can see the same thing happening with Waltzy and Guild. That Waltzy's, like I said earlier too, that he fills the shoes that nobody else wants to fill. Before Falcons, Waltzy was an IGL on Moist. He was playing the most aggressive characters. He was getting most kills, most damage. He was doing everything. He was doing what I was doing, right? And then he went from that to the complete opposite of, I'm going to be sitting in a crypto drone almost every single game and playing support, and then playing Newcastle too. So like who's going to, like, that's like a lot of ego to kind of put aside and trust like someone like me or even Zero to take over and do our part, and like make sure everyone on the team is comfortable. And that's like so important. And not only that he did that to himself, he does it well. Like he adopted a completely new role and new characters, and he does it really good, considering if obviously he took time to do so, but like at this point, like he's so I guess treasurable or high value that it's hard to replace him. Because like I said, when we were talking about the Esports Nations Cup, I don't really know who I can replace him with for Esports Nation Cup, because even if I watch these people, some of them don't even stream, or I don't even think they're as good as Waltzy. Not like, because he co-IGLs and he has the mechanics, and he has a good comms. Like he kind of does everything. Like I have everything that I need on one player, and that's like really hard to have. Like that's impossible to have almost, you know. So like I can pick up Vax, but then he doesn't have the mechanics as Walty. I can pick up Zap, but I don't think he has the same co-IGLing as Walty. So it's just he does everything that I need him to do, and if I think without him, like we're not doing anything, right? They need me just as much as we need Walty on the team. So that's like the best way to put it.
Yeah, like Game 7 is a really specific example where I've seen a ton of people throw it his way for the end because he goes left and like falls off the ledge. But that's why I guess I kind of like brought up when I was looking at that game specifically. I was like, this was really a team effort on like why it fell apart here, and like that's not like again to like, dump on you guys. It's more so to say just like it wasn't just Walsey who threw the game. Like there was like mistakes on every part.
Yeah, he instantly blamed himself. I think that's why he was so pissed off. And I just like instantly told him like, hey, like we all fucked up like so badly in some way. Like I wasted my bang ult thinking they're going to fight. To be fair, I could technically I wasted my evac too. Like imagine I had an evac to dodge all the Cossack gas in game. Like I didn't even think of using the like evac for the Cossack gas. I'm not playing Valk. Like the only way we can win is if we just wipe a team before it gets to the point that we die to Cossack gas or put an evac down and take it up, right? And then risk getting shot. But I told them that was like the first thing I said, other than I like getting second place, is that like don't blame yourself. Well, I was talking to Walty mainly, and like I told him like we all fucked up in some way. Like I said about the Bangle, I feel like even Guild threw his Costco way too early when he could have done it later in the game when there's like less space in the zone. It is what it is. Like like that was the only way for us to probably lose the game. Like if I didn't mess up my bang ult, we could have won the game. If he didn't mess up his crypto ult, we could have won the game. Maybe if he didn't mess like Guild through his Costco later, like it was kind of like the stars aligned, but in a bad way. Like
exactly.
Literally just for everyone. So and like I said, it was kind of just I think I blamed down the pressure, to be fair. I think it was like mainly the pressure and not starting to think about like, hey, how do we actually win this game? Because you do kind of have to think about the game differently when you have to win, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, you just think about like, oh, okay, how do we maximize the points here? What is the ideal play, not the way we win the game? And I didn't think about that. And I think I even remember when we were playing scrims and playing match point, I feel like that was kind of my weakness because I was always trying to like make the ideal play for points in itself and not thinking about, okay, we're on match point. What is the play for us to win this game, right? Because I don't want to get into this mindset of like going into the game and we're just going to fight this one team for God spawn. If we win it, we win the game. If we don't, then we got 0 points now and we're going to drop down the leaderboard. So it's kind of a little bit of balance of like, you need to, play smart, but then when it comes down to having to win the game, you have to think about that. Like I should have thought about, how do we win this game? If it goes down to the last zone, how am I going to dodge the Cossack gas? I can't dodge the Cossack gas. I wasted my evac. I should have fought these guys before we even got to this point and, played way more aggressive. So, yeah, it was just, like I said, a little bit of everything. And I told Walty that so many times. But it is what it is.
So the other interesting thing about this specific tournament was the map that inevitably was that Game 7 map. Where are we at with Olympus here? Where are we at with that?
I don't know. Like to be fair, starting out in the beginning, it was fucking terrible. I think Hammond lab zones are like the worst thing in any map ever made. Like it's just the worst zone ever. Like if you don't get in the zone, like just jump off the map. Basically, like even if it goes top lining route, like you have a chance, right? But like going Hammond where there's like 2 buildings and a rock, like good luck. So like in the beginning, it was just more so that zone, and everything else is pretty fine. There's like a lot of zones that repeat. I feel like a very common on Olympus, like garden zones. That happens like every single set of Olympus. But I don't think the map is that bad. I feel like one thing is that it's really hard to get purple sometimes. I don't know if it's because there's not enough Evo spawns because of how big the map is or something, but sometimes I feel like it's just impossible to get purple armor, and you're just stuck on blue. Um, but yeah, I don't think I think the map is actually better than what we thought in the beginning because obviously everyone practiced and learned things and figured out what is right and wrong in a way. Um, I still stand by that it's the worst ranked map ever made, but for I feel like for comp it's I don't know. It's like so weird because in ranked, I guess it's a different playstyle. But I know like in ranked, that map is so bad. But in comp, it's like not the same because the people are playing differently and you're getting points differently compared to ranked. So the map is played differently in a way. But I don't know. I would still rate Broken Moon over it. I just prefer Broken Moon. I just like that map better. I feel like overall compared to Olympus.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just my personal opinion on that.
I might
That's-
be crazy. I might have changed my
Right.
opinion. I was just gonna say I might have changed my opinion on Broken Moon. Where I think if they fix a couple choke points in some POIs, I think it's not a bad map for comp. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy with that because I know everyone we talk to hates it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know why people hate it. I feel like I don't even remember when we even played it. To be honest, I don't even remember like when we even did it in the first place. I think maybe it was EWC. I think it was like yeah, only once in EWC, like officially.
Well,
But
you
it
played
was
it in Pro
only
League,
for
didn't you?
I don't even remember.
I swear to
I'm
God,
not
you
gonna
played
lie.
it in Pro League, like not this, and then at the Open. Yeah,
But I think it was because it was very little though, because
Yeah,
it was
okay.
mainly the other maps, and I think it might have been it was only finals, maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
just
don't
remember like if when we did play it, it was very little for the specific tournament or whatever it was. Like it wasn't something like we played enough of it to be like, yeah, it's good or yeah, it's bad. In type of, I feel like it wasn't like a fair assessment of it. Um, but like I understand like the choke points, like certain zones would be like really bad. Like let's say like zones going Breaker Wharf, and
Mhm.
you're going through like 2 choke points and 15 other teams are coming with you. Like okay, I understand, but it also depends. You know what? Um, is it game one? Is it game five? Like what characters are banned? Like can I still play Valk? You know, depends like what's banned at the time. What makes Broken Moon easier to play, right?
Yeah.
That's the same thing with Olympus. Like, if you don't have any rotational characters on Olympus, like you just die. Like you're just impossible to play the game. Like you have to play a rotational character. If you don't, then you're just like I said, like, you just die. You can't like move because there's so much open space between like point A and point B. On specifically like I guess Olympus and Broken Moon. So yeah.
Yeah, that was the question. Earlier, I asked you like, is there anything you would change about ALGS and its rules or whatever it is? The one I wanted to pitch to you just to see what you thought. I've always felt like it was weird to have 4 maps. I'm fine with it, whatever. I do feel like finals lobby should just be 2. I just feel like it should be World's Edge and Storm Point. Maybe E
I was
District.
do not take
Maybe
on my
E District.
District.
But I just feel like it should just be 2. I feel like when you're going through 4 maps in a finals lobby, I feel like it loses a little bit of that luster. I don't know what you think about that.
I don't know. I don't like I, I don't think 2 maps. I think 2 maps is too little. I think that would get boring. We've also done that for like a really long time. So I think
forgot
like,
about
like
that part, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's like that is in the past. I feel like in a way, and I think 3 minimum is a minimum. 4, and my only dislike with 4 maps, it's like when you are a low seed going into finals, it's actually good. Like it's
Mhm.
not good, but it's not as bad as if it would be less maps. So like if you are like 15th seed and there's only 2 maps, you're gonna be fucked, kind of. Compared to having 4 maps, then you're gonna be like, okay, I can maybe have like 1 or 2 good, really good POIs, but then my other 2 ones are going to be bad because I'm 15th, right? So like, I feel like that's like one thing I kind of don't like is you don't really get fully punished from like what your seed is when you have so many maps being played. Um, but I don't know. I don't like personally don't really mind the different maps that much. Like it wasn't really anything. It wasn't something on my mind. I think it's more like I don't think the number is. I think it's just like what maps we are playing. We are playing. You know, that's how I see it. I don't know. Like obviously, I don't really watch the game back that much. To be fair, so I can't really like feel how it is to be a viewer watching 4 maps. I don't know if it's like complicated or people think it's too much. There's so much like shit that they've never seen before or something like that. But I think it's just something that they kind of do because I'm a dev. I'm making these maps. I'm gonna put it on the stage and let people play it out and like showcase it. And
Yeah,
I
that
think that's
makes
just
sense.
like I think that's like respectable enough.
Yeah.
Even though if it's shit, like if it's shit, it's shit. Obviously, we're gonna make sure they know that beforehand. But yeah,
Obviously we watch a lot. As a viewer, I don't think I've ever like really thought it's too much to follow. But again, like we watch a lot, so like maybe it's easier for us. But my thing is, I actually thought for players it might be like if you just had like a bad game on World's Edge, but you're like, okay, but hey, we just bounce back here. You don't get in that rhythm of like playing the map like you would on like a normal day where you have three, like we made a mistake here. If this happens again, we do this. You don't get in that rhythm in finals because it's just like one, 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 one. I didn't know if that ever like messed with you guys.
it didn't really. I don't think it messed with me. It is definitely weird though to like change maps like every game. Um, it's not it's just like a feeling I guess like because I'm so used to playing two maps and like getting have that consistent gameplay.
That's what I
Like
mean.
it went from like you're playing two maps and only playing one character all for 6 games or whatever it is, right? And now we're playing 4 different maps. You're playing a different map every game, and then now you're probably playing a new character every game. So it's like something to get used to. I don't consider it as bad in any way. Um, and I think it's just also just to be honest, just good. It adds, like I said from earlier, just another layer of depth into the game. People need to kind of play the game to understand the map. Like I remember, I'm just gonna bring this up. Like Zero was fucking terrible at E District. Like he didn't play the game. The dude didn't know shit. Like if we were playing scrims and he was learning stuff. Like, oh shit, that's a spot. Like yeah, if you were playing ranked, you would know. So like adding like maps, it's like good because you kind of make people play the game so you can
Mhm.
learn it. I guess you can learn it in scrims, but it's like you're not gonna learn everything in only 6 games a day. Like you could be playing for way more playing ranked on the specific map and get a lot more out of it, right? So I don't see it as any like I see it as bad in any way, just as long as the map itself is fundamentally good. um, it's fine. Like especially like King's Cannon. King's Cannon is like in the past. It's the first map we played. It was a long time ago. There's a lot of like loop problems with that map. I think just mainly that, and you just need to kind of move on with something like that. And I think World's Edge is also gonna get in there. To be honest,
You're
Damn,
telling me you
old
don't
reliable.
reminisce on the days of winning LAN at Wetlands or whatever that POI was back in at Poland.
it's so weird to like think about, but like I have played this damn game for so long. I'm getting to the point where I go to like certain spots on the map and I'm like, shit, that was like the time where it was game 7. We were supposed to win and we just fucked it. Like that's like what that's that POI. That's that like building now.
Starts
That's just
having
what it reminds me.
PTSD flashbacks and
Yeah,
screaming when he walks through
Yeah.
Hammond.
yeah, literally. Like this
Yeah.
people are gonna start calling out. Yeah, that's game 7 Falcons choke right there. That's a zone.
How would imagine they did like they had like graffitis like CS. Like you ever see
Yeah,
like the jumping no scope in like I don't know how familiar you are with CS on
Mirage.
like Mirage.
simple.
Yeah.
No, there's the simple
Mirage.
one. I was thinking on
Yeah,
Mirage, like it's called Zera. Like, so imagine you're on the receiving end of that. Your Team Liquid, like, always has to just see that fucking jumping off graffiti. Like,
yeah,
fuck.
yeah. That's how it literally feels for me. Like I just go to certain spots, like even on the King's Cannon, I'm just like, yeah, I remember that specific building. This happened. Just like you said, PTSD or memories, good or bad.
I've always said they need to put like wherever the final team wins like a wins a LAN, they need to put like a plaque like in game like a platform or something right there like
That
on
would be
that
sick.
spot. They
That'd be
should do
sick.
that.
Or they can use like a graffiti that just doesn't really affect like cover. They just put it on the
Probably
ground.
better
Yeah.
than the idea I just said. That's
A
probably way better.
a plaque or graffiti. Like, imagine like a horizon queuing up over outside like Thunderwatch up there, like in between Lightning Rod, right? Like
Yeah.
that would just like, you know, what's the word? I was gonna say commemorate. I guess that works. Like just like your win in London there, right? Like
Yeah.
just something as simple as that.
I think that'd be
Yeah.
sick. I
It would
think
be
that'd
so
sick.
cool. And the fact that we have a POI called Monument and it doesn't showcase any of you guys in there is crazy to me. Like I don't understand that. We need to get that updated now.
Yeah, and Apex and trying to what's the word? Back, I guess competitive in the game is just not the same. Like they obviously they back they back the competitive scene, but not to the point where they're gonna put it, in the game too much. I think they put Oblivion's like announcement that they won the tournament as like the beginning screen when you open the game. But other than that, we don't have a badge, we don't have a spray, we don't have anything on the map. I think that what you said, to be honest, I think that's out of anything, I think that would be the coolest thing. To like, you have final end zone, like this is BR, this is Apex, like this whole like last circle thing. This is Apex, this is match point, the most entertaining format of any BR. We it would be just sick as fuck to just put like a wallpaper on the ground to commemorate a specific moment and the winning moment of every LGS. And like obviously they can be like, okay, it's been 2 years, we can get rid of it now. Like, okay, sure, it's fine. But I think that's just sick.
It feels like it's something that'd be very doable too. Like, it's like easy. Too hard to incorporate.
Yeah, it's like no one has to pay for it. No, it's on the ground, not blocking anybody. Like no one's gonna get hurt. We don't. It's just like simple things. Like,
and it builds the history of the game. I literally was just watching Wig react to a video. Like it was a short I saw of him going through every graffiti of CS because he's been watching like 100 Thieves CS now. Imagine players being like, "Why is there this graffiti here? What does this mean?" Oh, that's a 360 no scope with a Kraber on fucking land. Like even something like that. It doesn't have to be just land wins. It could be like crazy moments that like you just remember from the history of Apex. Like, it would get people talking about it. It'd be so cool for them to incorporate.
Yeah, just something as simple as the
another one could be. I was
insane.
thinking like a Wraith kidnapping right inside Echo HQ.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Yeah,
I've been meaning to ask some point. Like, what do we think about Panic? You have a conversation with him?
Yeah, no, he Panic. You know how Panic is. He walks up to me after the tournament. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man? Like, how you doing, man?" And I'm like, "Fuck you!" Like, I know it's you. And he's like, "Oh shit!" And he was actually surprised. "Oh shit, that was you!" Like, "Oh yeah."
Have you listened to his comms? Have you listened to his comms in that game?
Not well. Like, I think I tried to, but I don't think I watched it with comms.
Oh, okay. Because he screams, "Fuck you, Hal!"
Actually,
yeah, his mic peaks so loud that it actually cuts out. But he says because they knew it was you guys. Like they literally the whole time they knew where everyone was. They knew where you guys were. They knew where Grow were. Well, so they were plotting on trying to take out and kidnap the match point teams.
They weren't on. Were they on match point?
TSM was on match point as well, so that's why they were trying to take out match point teams, I guess, to give them the better chance of being the only ones to close it out. So they're like, we're gonna terrorize Falcons. We're fucking going for him. They wanted to get Waltzy. They said, get that Gibby, bro, but he just happened to get you. And I guess because they saw it was the Valk, he shouted, "Fuck you, Hal!" And
I didn't know that. That's just cringe. That's actually just cringe.
Use it as fuel.
It was kind of funny because immediately they go, "We're gonna get Grow Gaming," and then all of a sudden they hear the Valk call, and he goes, "Grow Gaming left." And then they start getting like really delusional, thinking the zone's still pulling to them and like Grow Gaming. Then they thought it was you guys that Foul culted, was definitely Grow Gaming. It's a really funny listen to their comms, I will say, just because
those guys were grasping at straws, playing for fucking kidnaps for KP in zone.
Oh shit, that's great. I don't got anything. You have one?
Yeah, I know. You had briefly talked about like playing ranked, and then we had also talked about how like. Comp, it seems like it's in a place where it just gets better and better and better. How we have match point, how we have the character bands, and we see Apex Comp appears to be heading in like a really positive direction in terms of the things that they're implementing in the game, while ranked is the absolute opposite, and it feels like it just keeps on getting worse. Is it as simple as like, we just go back to season 13 split 1, or what do you think they need to do in order to get ranked into a similar place where it's as playable as comp is?
Man, beating dead horse with this one. Literally, like I think I've millions of people ask me that. Like, it is just simple as season 13, but I think it's just far past that at this point. Like, we're season 26, 27. I don't even know what number we're at.
I think we're on 28.
28. Shit, like, I don't even know what number we're on.
Big number.
Yeah,
big number.
It's been 15 seasons, and we've been preaching season 13, and like they're like season 28, season 29, season 30. Like, nothing's changed. It's just we can keep saying what we're saying, but clearly they've already made up their mind what the hell they want, or they're gonna. I don't know. Like, expect someone it's been what 15 seasons and they still don't listen. Like, what am I gonna have to wait until 30 more seasons for them to listen? I don't know. I don't really want to wait that long, right? So to me, like, yeah, season 13 is the truth and the key to, the promised land of Apex, but clearly they don't want to go that way, and I don't know where they want to fucking go, but that's only they know that. So it's disappointing. You have competitive, like you said, going such, just always been amazing. Obviously, like, I think, competitive Apex has just always been amazing all the time. I've always enjoyed it compared to ranked, where it's just like a brain dead just grind of just doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's like boring, right? But season 13 wasn't like that. There was meaning to ranks, and just because you play doesn't mean you were going to be above someone else, playing more than someone else, right? It was more so like, oh, I'm actually better than this guy. I've gained more RP. I played better. I'm better than him, and I didn't just get on and play 100 more games and I'm above him. That guy now, it's just not the same. And I think it's just, like I said, it's at a point where I just think it's pointless, to be honest, to argue with them regarding the two ranked. Honestly, I just kind of like accepted it. It's been too long. It's 28 seasons, almost at 30, and they don't listen in regards to that. So I'm just like, okay, like, as long as you don't fuck up my comp, like, I'll be fine. So.
And you did hit a little bit of a rank 1 grind, I've seen. Have you enjoyed that at all? Or was it mostly just because Octane is just beyond busted and you just...
I was more so enjoying the Octane.
With a 1v3 RE.
Yeah, 1v3 Octane Fortified. I think I was more so enjoying that than the number 1 grind. The number 1 guy, he has like 200 games played on me, so I think, I can give him number 1. He can have it. But yeah, I think it was more so Octane that was making me I think Octane being buffed and being broken made me enjoy ranked, because I was able to make like insane clips and carry if I wanted to. And maybe that's an avenue they can pursue, and maybe instead of fixing the rank system, make characters busted so I can run around and shit on people. I don't know. Maybe that could be like a good idea of making ranked more fun, but that didn't, like I said, short-lived as I expected, when I tweeted.
Who's the most, out of all the busted characters, who do you think it was the most fun? Like peak Horizon, peak Ash?
Ooh, probably Horizon.
I was gonna say Horizon.
Horizon, I think, just because no matter where you were dead. Like, I don't care if you were on top of Mount Everest, I'm coming for you on Horizon. Like, it did not matter. It did not matter. Like, Octane, like, I can't just jump pad into your face if you're on top of a roof. Like, you can kill me. But like, if you're on top of a roof and I'm Horizon, like, God is coming. Like, you're just he's levitating, he's coming. Doesn't matter where you're at. So definitely Horizon.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. This was actually a fun question I thought of that I want to ask you today. If you were to go, like, say it was like 1 diamond player and maybe like 2 gold or plat players, you had to 1v3 them in a TDM. Do you think like you could take them? Like 1 diamond or like 1 master, but then like
a TDM.
TDM, like, yeah,
1 diamond and 2 golds, or what?
Yeah, or like 2 golds. So basically, like, just one player who's like slightly above average, knows how to shoot their gun, but the other guys are kind of like, they're not the greatest, but they're there, right? You know what I mean?
Like, what character am I playing and what character
you play whatever you want. Like, and I guess, like, yeah, like, I don't know, you could limit them, or like, what like handicaps do you think you would need to put in place to win that?
I would have to play some busted character. And it would have to be a very controlled experiment here, like, I would have to set the rules like very specifically here. Like, I would have to play a busted character, they wouldn't be able to play like Caustic and sit in a room and AFK and make me push them or something.
Yeah.
It would just
Caustic Newcastle Gibby.
Yeah, like, I can't like kill them. Like, I kill one guy, he's gonna get res instantly by Newcastle. What's the point? I can't kill them. It just depends, and that's what I think I've said this in the past, which is kind of like, as like I said that, or I guess on the pod here, I did say it, that like I fell in love with characters where you can like express your skill to the fullest, and characters that are unfortunately broken in a way, it allows players to express their skill ceiling. and that's what Wraith was back in the day, like insta Q. That's what Horizon was back in the day. That's what Ash was. This is what Octane was, and like, it's kind of funny too because if you think about it, like after every character is becoming busted, it's taking less time for them to nerf it because Wraith was busted for a long time. Horizon was a couple tournaments, maybe one or two, busted. Ash, very short time from what I remember, and then Octane was like you didn't even get to play a LAN of Octane, right? So I just I wish for myself. I feel like they should just like let things play out. Like see how it is. Like how busted is it really? Maybe in ranked it's busted, but like in comp, like someone's playing Newcastle Caustic, it doesn't matter how many times I'll knock him. I can't just run into the gas. I can knock someone 3 times, they're just gonna get res instantly. It's Octane's not busted. It's just first ranked, it's good because how ranked is. But on paper, that character is not good. Like if you play against a good team. So
Yeah, I asked that because of all these things you see with like I don't know if you guys have seen on like YouTube, Twitter, like rock like they're talking about like what esport or game has like the highest mechanical difference or like it takes the best mechanics basically and like you see like these Rocket League pros 1v7ing players and things like that and some of those guys in there are like about that diamond to like pro level comparison or you'll see like like there's Fortnite guys who like they do the same thing they 1v5 and shit like that so I was curious about like what you would think like mechanical wise like how many players you could take individually but like the biggest thing would be like you said it's the abilities just even that skill expression and that skill disparity so much that it makes it hard like if you're sitting on Skulltown TDM they just bunker up Watson Caustic fucking Cat what are you supposed to do like
well, yeah, like right now it's so hard to 1v3 now. Like they've nerfed Octane now. It's like okay, next best character is what Maggie or Alter to like express my skill. Like it's just not it's not good enough. Like I can only like I said earlier is like I can only be as good as how good the character is. Like if I could be insane at the game, but if my character is shit, then like I can only do so much, right? And the fact that they're buffing defensive characters, it only makes the characters that are aggressive that can be skill expressed even worse. Because now I can't push people in a building because they have 15 barrels and 10 fences and like I have to go through like hell to kill one guy.
dude
And if I kill him, then he's just gonna get rezzed.
cat changes are ridiculous in my opinion.
Yeah, they are. It's just stupid. I told like I forgot what his name was. Like the dev in ALGS like stop buffing defensive characters. Like nobody wants this. He's like, yeah, don't worry, we got things on the way. And the next thing on the way, they buff the Catalyst. Like okay, yeah, you buff Crypto, but like Catalyst is even more broken than like in a way than Crypto. Like it just Crypto is already broken.
Yeah.
Now you just make Now you have Caustic, Catalyst, Rampart, and Watson all just beyond broken. Like it's just boring.
This is literally my last question. Are you guys playing Caustic still first before Cat right now? I noticed that you guys are playing Cat later on.
Yeah.
So the Caustic's still getting that first roll because, like, I guess it makes sense because of the damage, but I don't know. Those tax spikes or like the Cat spikes are they're insane. You could lock down an entire building with those 3 spikes.
Yeah, you can, but you can play aggressively better on Caustic than you can with the Catalyst. That's the main reason. So, yeah.
All right, my last question. You've played with some of the best players in the world, by far some of the best players in the world. Skill-wise, I think there's an easy list to be made. But as far as just the best teammates, how would you rank the teammates that you've had up to this point? Just best teammate. Just good teammate.
Putting the man on the spot.
Just me and Reps and everyone else just sucks. That's how the best way to put it.
Shit! Good list. Good list.
No love for Walty.
Good list.
What a list! Fantastic.
I don't know. I've said like I don't know. I've said on stream it's just like I don't know. I've like gotten pissed at Jordan before and whatever, but like I've never. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like me and Jordan were playing together. He like respected who I was, and I felt that all the time. And I feel like I would never get that ever again from anyone else other than him. Like I can yell at him as much as I want, right? And he's not going to be like pissy or, whatever, how people react to me. And I feel like that's just like impossible to ever get again. So yeah, I think it's just like, I don't know. I would like put me like Jordan as number one, and then the list if below that would just be very like
minute. Yeah.
It'll be a toss up. Like kind of just comparing everyone, and right. So I feel like everyone else that I've played with, other than Jordan, has had moments of like resentment, has had of moments of like fuck I hate you, or any of those like bad blood just for even one day or an hour or whatever it might be, right? And that's just I guess that's just what comes with competitive moments in sports, esports, whatever. But when it comes with Jordan, it's just like I don't know. I feel like I never felt that with him before. Like it was just kind of I was pissed off, and maybe he had agreed or disagreed with it. But at the end of the day, like I feel like I didn't feel any resentment or bad blood between me and him, like at any moment. So, yeah.
That's a beautiful answer. That's fantastically put. I miss rep so much, man.
I don't got the skill or anything to back it up, but I'd let you yell at me.
Shit, you're not gonna give me any choice.
All right, E, you want to hit him with it?
Yeah. All right. So, Hal, from the last time you've been on the pod to now, what's the most important thing you've learned?
When was the last time I was on the pod?
Just after
Orleans?
open. Just after open.
After open. Most important thing I have learned is let's think about this for a second. I think the most important thing that I've learned is as long as I have confidence in myself, there's no doubt that we or I can win. I think that's like the most important thing I've learned. After coming back from not IGLing, and the last time I IGL was 17th, I learned that I need to maintain my confidence by keeping my individual ability up. And if I have my individual ability up, like my mechanics and stuff like that, there's just no one stopping us. So I think that's like really important. That's like top of the pyramid. That's like the most important thing. As long as I have that, everything else comes with it. So I think that's really important.
Hell yeah.
You always have some of the best answers to that question.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. Hal, you're always so gracious to us, man. Thank you so much for hopping on once again. We appreciate having you every single time. It is awesome to just hear the backstories and all these different things. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you. And listen, that was a second place, but that was the most dominant second place we've ever seen. Next time you're on, though, there's going to be a trophy. There's another one. I smell it. There's another trophy.
Regardless of why it's top five.
Yeah, regardless.
No. I want you to understand when you see my top five, I'm going to put Falcons 20th on purpose to reverse it.
Don't say question marks. Say thank
Don't say question mark. You just have to know.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's a reverse jinx. There it is.
I'll be looking out for it because that's going to play a role because
he did reverse jinx Oblivion. He
did.
Pretty much like just constantly shit on them because he wanted Monsoon to win.
I wanted Monsoon to win. I love Monsoon. He's a good guy.
Yeah. That was nobody would have predicted that. Let's just be real.
Nobody would have.
Yeah.
But if you see a list and it's me and it's Falcons 20, just know it's like
I'll let the boys know. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll let the boys know. I'll let them know since I know they don't know. Like I'll spread the word.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. All right, Hal. Once again, man, thank you so much. We appreciate having you on, man. Thanks, man.
No problem.